Hello and welcome to Viva Pod Vegas.
Oh, thank you very much for listening.
This is episode 34, Change a Habit from 1969. All right, I'm Mike Manzi.
And I'm Joey Lewandowski, as an incognito nun tries to help a doctor clean up an inner city ghetto, which I'm not sure that is the plot of this movie. The pair grow closer with time. Mike, this is the final Elvis Presley film.
Yeah, sad. I can't believe that we end on what I don't know if this is an actual term. I'm just typing it into Google now, but a nunsploitation film, perhaps?
So there is nunsploitation. There are multiple movies like that. I also think that there is there's a phrase coined by the podcast, How Did This Get Made, called nundercover, and these nuns do go nundercover. But nunsploitation is a thing.
It's also a nurse movie. So there's a stream of those as well. Like Roger Corman made a series of like night nurse, day nurse, all that kind of stuff. So nun nurse.
Joe and I used to run. We just got replaced. We used to run a film club, but yeah, like The Devils kind of has some nunsploitation.
Even what was it? The one with oh gosh, I should never start a sentence when I don't know the actor's name. But
talking about Whoopi Goldberg and Sister Act.
Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit.
You're talking about Little Sister.
Little Sister, yeah, but that's
the Innocents.
You're okay. Never mind. You got the list.
We got the list, and these are all movies that we cover for the film.
Bad Habit, is that another one? Bad Habit?
I don't know.
Okay.
We knew that this was a nun movie. I don't remember what we guessed, but I do not think it was this. We have no email. If you want to email in king@cageclub.me. For now, I'm going to say this is our season finale because I assume for you, Monsters That Made Us will come back soon. Hopefully,
yes. Yep.
Updates there. Do we want to get on the top of the show? Are you coming back? You don't need to announce themes if you don't want to announce themes, but are you coming back this fall?
We will be back.
Want to know.
Yes, we will be back. Yes, it is official. We are coming back. Dan and I are in at the end of our talks about what we're doing.
Excellent. So you have that coming up to look forward to. And in less than 2 months, I'm getting married. So I'm trying to get ahead of the game for the 2 regular ongoing podcasts that I do. And so that's why this one is a little bit late, because like every night that Margaret is not here, I am basically doing a Too Fast or a Lottery pod, and so I had to find the night where we could do this. So we are doing Change of Habits tonight. So we will come back with some things at some point, but for now, season finale, not series finale, but season finale.
Yeah, I mean, we got to come back. We could really milk this. We got to do our list episode. I don't want to just cram that into the end of this episode. So like, there's material. We're good. But yes, very surprised that this was the end of the line for now.
So there is one more movie he was writing himself or working on himself that was never made. That sounds amazing, which we will get to a little bit in the trivia thing. But Mike, before we get there, the most important part of the show, we have 2 taglines.
Oh, sick. All right. Nice. Let's go out on a big one.
If this is the case, and I did not read these. I just copied and pasted them, so these are new to me too. One of these I see is for the movie, and then one is for the DVD tagline. So I don't know if one was like after the fact, like in the 90s, 2000s, I don't know, and one was from 69, I don't know. But here's the first one. This has no disclaimer. This is definitely for the movie, I think.
Okay. All right.
Oh boy.
Oh shit.
Could he change her life, could she forget her vows and follow her heart, ...
Horrible.
Could he change her life? Could she forget her vows and follow her heart?
I mean, nothing about the doctor, nothing about like being on like the wrong side of town, nothing about the other 2 nurses, nothing about any of this being like a secret. It's like, can he stop her from being a nun? It's so strange.
I will say,
one of them stops being a nun.
I'm going to say this for a little bit. I was going to say something about like what it's trying to do in terms of like the kind of movie that it is, but I want to get into that in a little bit. Okay,
yeah,
the other tagline. This is
the
DVD tagline. This is, I think, for a reason. This is not with the movie because of how it frames the package. But when the King of Rock meets the Queen of Comedy, romance rules.
Okay, that's a great tagline, and I don't know if she was quite the queen of comedy in '69. Maybe.
No, I think that's after people know the Mary Tyler Moore Show, they're like, okay, here we go.
But she got a lot of acclaim for the Dick Van Dyke Show, for her portrayal of the wife and all that kind of being a funny woman at the time, and I really feel like she was pushing sitcom boundaries of what like a wife could, she was more of a Lucy than any, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I feel like maybe that's a great tagline though.
So you like the second one better?
Oh, much better.
Okay.
It's short and sweet and like has nothing to do with the movie, but it sells it like perfectly.
I think it's after the fact it's like, oh, there's an Elvis Presley Mary Tyler Moore movie. Like, let's just, like, it doesn't matter what it's about or anybody else who's in it. It's these two.
Was she the queen of comedy when DVDs were coming out in the late 90s?
I know there's, like, the kings of comedy. Like, that's a thing. Who's the queen of comedy? If you had to list, like, Joan Rivers, maybe, but, like, I don't, like, that's not what.
Joan Rivers would totally do that.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
call her the queen of comedy, but, like, if you're naming a queen of comedy, it would probably be Joan Rivers.
yeah, she'd be on the Mount Rushmore.
I guess Mary Tyler
Definitely.
Moore would maybe be on the Mount Rushmore, but,
I
like, I don't
mean,
know.
well, Lucy could be
Lucy.
there. Yeah, she worked with the Marx Brothers. Those are some funny.
Hmm.
Okay, interesting.
Okay. So we've got three and then room for one more. Room to grow in that Mount Rushmore.
I
So this
think
movie
so. Maybe we could combine them.
is directed by William A. Graham, who is a prolific TV director, written by James Lee, who is best known for writing some episodes of the miniseries Roots with Kunta
Wait,
Kinte.
James Lee? That's funny
James
because
Lee.
it makes me think of Jim Lee, very good comic book artist. Jim Lee used to draw the X-Men, X-Men
All
number
right.
one. Anyway,
Also written by S.S. Schweitzer, who does not have any writing
whoa,
credits of note. And also written
that's a
by,
real name? S.S.
yes.
Schweitzer?
Yeah,
That
it
sounds
sounds
kind
German
of
as fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't like the sound at
And
all.
also written by Eric Berkovici, who adapted the 1980, not the new one, but the 1980 miniseries Shogun. So there was another Shogun back then, so this guy adapted that. So,
Oh,
like, a lot
okay.
of TV people, it
Oh,
seems, behind the scenes this. Based on a story by John Joseph and Richard Morris, produced
yeah.
by Joe Connolly, known for Amos and Andy, Leave It to Beaver, and The Munsters, and cinematography by Russell Meddy, who won the Oscar for cinematography for Spartacus. So there's talent.
Whoa, worked with Kubrick.
Yes.
Wow. I noticed there was lots of sort of like writing credits and stuff. I was surprised that this wasn't adapted from some kind of novel or something like
No,
that at
I think
all.
it's just like two guys had a story and then three guys wrote a thing.
I feel like these guys saw like, I mean, it feels like they were trying to do the like neo-American kind of like easy rider thing, like heavy issue social justice, like but they just hit everything over the head with a huge mallet. This movie's insane. This is the most I haven't watched a movie like this dark, like
Yeah.
this intentionally like trying to get at you in a long time. There's some weird things that they tackle in this.
Yeah, this movie's a little bit of a mess. We will get to that, of course, in a little bit. So it stars Elvis Presley as Dr. John Carpenter.
Can't believe his name is John Carpenter. I think we brought this up last episode that John Carpenter will direct an Elvis movie. Did you remember that?
Yes,
John,
with Kurt
yeah,
Russell.
with
Mhm.
Kurt Russell as Elvis. So that is just crazy.
One little bit of trivia, I don't know if this is true or not. I just take everything on IMDb and Wiki as gospel, even though I think that's a crazy thing to do, is that it said after this movie came out, John Carpenter was a name that Elvis would use at hotels when traveling to not draw attention.
Oh, it's too bad that John Carpenter can't use Elvis Presley as his fake name.
I mean,
Maybe he could. Maybe he did.
it. I don't know that John Carpenter, other than people like you and me, would ever be bothered. Like, that's what's always funny to me about, like, I haven't
Well,
gone in a
until
while,
yeah.
but like when I was living in Austin and a couple years thereafter, I went to like Fantastic Fest.
Right.
And people like Simon Barrett, to the, like, I love Simon Barrett. This is not shade of Simon Barrett. To the world, is a nobody. But at Fantastic Fest, is a rock star and everyone flocks to him. And so it's like, yeah, Simon Barrett can just check into a hotel as Simon Barrett. But at Fantastic Fest, it's like, you got to be careful where you go.
Yeah, he's got to be like Barry Simonson or something.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
You got to flip it somehow.
So we got Mary Tyler Moore as Sister Michelle, won 7 Emmys and 3 Golden Globes, Oscar nominated for the film Ordinary People, which was her return to movies. I think the movie, I don't think she,
Ordinary fucking people.
I don't know. I might be misremembering because I don't have this written down, but I don't think she did a movie between this and that. I think she just did a bunch of TV, then came back to movies, or maybe there's a couple more movies after. I don't know, but like her return to movies got her an Oscar nom.
She's like nowhere on my cast list for Google for some reason. So like I can't see. I don't recall her in my lifetime being in a ton of major motion pictures. So I just remember her in reruns all the time on Nick at Night, which are great.
So we've got Barbara McNair as Sister Irene. She's a singer and theater, TV, and film actress. She started as a singer, transitioned into acting, and acted across from Sidney Poitier. Not Sidney Poitier, the girl, the daughter,
No,
but
that's
Sidney Poitier, the
They
father,
call me Mr. Tibbs.
in 2 movies. Jane Elliott as Sister Barbara, the third nun, best known for Tracy Quartermain on General Hospital, so another TV person there.
Oh, that's a very cool name.
We've got Ed Asner as Lieutenant Moretti, best known for the Mary Tyler Moore Show. We talked about this, I think, last week, but within a month or two, let's see here, it premiered in September of the following year. So, like, within a year of this movie coming out, the Mary Tyler Moore Show started airing, and so Ed Asner met up with her for that.
Weird.
He is the most honored male performer in the history of the Emmys, having won 7, 5 for portraying Lou Grant, and 2 as a lead actor in a spin-off series on Luke, called Lou Grant. He also won Emmys for 2 miniseries, Rich Man, Poor Man, and Roots. So the guy who wrote this also cast him in Roots, I guess.
All right.
And he's also in a bunch of movies.
Hell yeah.
He was in El Dorado, They Call Me Mr. Tibbs, which you just mentioned. Mr. Tibbs, I guess, also Sidney Poitier, maybe, right? Yes?
Oh,
No?
yeah. I think that's sequel to Heat of the Night. Fort Apache. Wow, great movie. Did you guys
Fort
watch?
Apache, The Bronx, JFK? We have not. Is that a car movie?
No, but it's a heist film, so like you should get it on your list.
Did we do a heist
I
lab?
believe
We
it's
did
a heist film.
We did
It's
a
either
heist lab.
okay, it's either a heist, then it might be a sort of like Precinct 13 type situation where they're like batting down the hatches, holding down the fort. I can't exactly. I just remember it being
48.
Just remember it being. It's got Paul Newman. Paul Newman's gonna have my legs broke.
Oh, maybe this is not. Maybe this is a different Fort Apache.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of a different movie.
Is it Fort Apache The Bronx?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fort Apache The
be there.
Bronx.
Okay.
That's a Paul Newman, Ed Asner, Pam Grier. No, that is this one with Ed
okay.
Asner.
Okay. Yeah. I might be misremembering the plot.
Because
But
John Ford is a Fort Apache from 1948 starring John Wayne with Shirley Temple in there. It's like, I don't think Joe would... I can push the boundaries so far with Joe, but I don't think I can get him to watch a black and white John Ford movie. Well, maybe he would like that. I don't know.
yeah. How do you? I mean, this guy also played Santa Claus in the
Yeah,
beloved
that is
Elf.
here.
You know,
He was
can't
also the
forget that.
voice of Carl in Up.
Yes, immortalized. Yeah, and apparently he was a voice in Gargoyles, the cartoon, which I just love. That just side fact right there.
Oh, was he like a main voice or just a side voice?
I mean, I'm gonna assume he was a gargoyle. He played Hudson. Was Hudson one of the gargoyles? It sounds like they all had. Oh yeah, he must have been because there's Goliath, Brooklyn, Hudson, Lexington. So he was a gargoyle. Good for him. It looks like there's one with an Ed Asner looking beard. Yep, there's an old Ed Asner looking gargoyle for sure.
Love that. Love that for him. Ed Asner also in Kid Galahad, as was Robert Emhart, who is the banker. You know, that guy who's just like, you owe me money. Like, that's a whole crazy thing.
Yeah, that guy looked way familiar from stuff, but I didn't recognize anything he was in. I didn't even remember Ed Asner being in this movie. I was so like distracted by everything else.
I mean, he just kind of strolls in like at the one point where the one nun is having a sit-in at the market and just, you know.
Oh yeah, and he does have a fun little scene. Now I'm remembering that now. He picks up the banana and starts eating it, and he's talking to Elvis, and he's like, "Now you see, in this situation, we're not supposed to agitate them anymore." She's like, "Just shoot me."
We also have Regis Toomey as Father Gibbons, the priest, who was also in His Girl Friday, The Big Sleep, and Spellbound. And then a couple other people in here, not of anything really of note. So sorry to them.
Okay. All right.
So some trivia background on this movie. Released in November of 1969. Spent 4 weeks on the Variety box office survey. Peaked at number 17 for that year's films.
Wow, really? That's actually kind of surprising. 69.
There's like real movies coming out that year.
No, I know. I didn't mean it like that, but like
No.
it's
I'm
sort
saying
of-
like the fact that it's like it's competing with real movies. It's
but-
impressive.
And there's a renaissance in American film happening around this time as well. So like films are becoming very different than they used to be. You know, they're learning from overseas and they're just like grabbing cameras and hitting the road and making their short little small movies and stuff. And this has a lot of that sort of like, you know, we talk over on Coppola, like he made the Rain People. They basically drove from one side of America to the other and filmed their movie out of a van. Like it's it's that time of year. So I don't know.
So there was buzz when this movie was coming out that it might be Oscar buzz, but Elvis was like, I know the Academy hates him. He's not going to be considered. And he famously said, according to the internet, quote, don't go buying no tuxedos.
He unfortunately isn't the best that he's been in this. Like I know he can act and I know he's a good actor when he can be, but I don't know if this material might be just a little too heavy.
Well, also,
Little
this
too
would
dark.
not be, if he were nominated for this, it would not be for Best Lead Actor.
No, it'd be supporting, right?
He's top
Supporting role?
billed, but like this is a Mary Tyler Moore movie.
Absolutely.
This is the thing that I do not understand. These are literally two things pulled verbatim from the internet. Change of Habit is considered to be among Elvis's best films and has been praised for how it dealt with inner city problems in ways that had never been seen in a Hollywood film. Among his best films, right? And then also, literally, it has a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes through 10 reviews. It means 9 of 10 people
Okay.
who have a review for this said it's a bad movie, and 1 said it's a good movie. 65% by the audience on Rotten Tomatoes, though. So most viewers like it, but critics do not, even though apparently, according to Wikipedia, it is considered to be among his best films.
There's something to be said about this movie where it's like the content here is like phenomenal. Like, make this movie today. Make it a period piece, or make it even today as is in this day and age with the way that like Medicare and all that kind of shit is in this country and stuff. But like I think like the script is like very strong. It's like it's look, there's more slurs in this movie than I've heard in a long time. Like
Oh, yeah.
they say everything from the hard R to the to both hard Fs, you know.
They
There's
say
two
the
of them.
N word.
They say the
A little
a little
4-year-old
girl
girl says the N word.
repeats the N word. Like it is super like all about social injustice reform and everything, and that's good, but it's just not well like crafted in the right way. Like I don't feel like the right people are behind, not necessarily behind the scenes, but like for sure in front of the camera. Like Mary Tyler Moore, known for comedy and lightheartedness, like doing this, it just feels very jarring. I'll just say that. Like I thought it was going to be more songs, more giggles, more kind of like fun stuff, but
Nope.
we go like as dark as possible, and Elvis and like tackling autism in 1969 and like apparently having like no making up whatever they want maybe about it. I'm not sure. We'll get to that scene and talk more about it, but like the other thing, like this rape. Mary Tyler
Yep.
Moore gets raped. Like
Yep.
what?
Yep.
What the fuck in
It
this
also
Elvis
like
movie?
for lack of a better thing, like it's basically Chekhov's rape, where they talk about like people were
Yeah.
raped here, and then at the end, like she does get assaulted. It's just like
Do you think the other
what?
nun is gonna get stuck in a gangbang for having those guys move her shit in for her?
I know.
It's very implied. It's just my mind was on I watched this thing straight through, no breaks, because I was like, I gotta see like if this thing is for real or not.
So this is going back to Mary Tyler Moore. This is her fourth and final film in a Universal Pictures contract. She did not appear in another theatrical movie until Ordinary People. So that was right. So like there's an 11-year gap where she just does TV, she does whatever,
Wow. Okay.
comes back, gets an Oscar nom. There's no scenes for Mary Tyler Moore and Ed Asner together in this movie, but of course they're in the show together. The premieres the next September. So there are two notable plot points in this movie, which we will also talk about in the conversation about the movie itself. Number one, autism. So the character of Amanda, a young autistic child, this is believed to be the first portrayal of autism in a film by name. Mary Tyler Moore sees her and just like, autistic. And they're like, what? And then Elvis basically hugs the autism away, which we will talk about. And I'm just trying to get through all this quickly, and then we can talk about it later.
It's just like that's what happens. Like that's it.
It accurately, so this is according to the internet, it accurately portrays the common misdiagnosis of deafness, and once the autism is defined, she's treated with a therapy that was then quite common, rage reduction therapy, also known as attachment therapy. This treatment has since fallen out of favor, now considered pseudoscientific, and that scene that they shot was supervised by this guy, Robert Zaslow, who was the father of rage reduction therapy. So they're just like, hey, this is the new thing that we're like identifying. This is, at the time, the right way to diagnose or to treat it.
Yeah.
This guy is the father of that treatment. Let's bring him in here and have him supervise.
Wild that after they got it on camera, they're like, "This is what this this is what he
That
recommends."
scene is also so long.
It's too long. But I get the point, like I get it. It's always hard to do that, what they're doing, and I give them credit for trying in a way, but I also feel like it's even though they're like, let's bring in the expert, the guy that knows, it's like, no one checked with like anyone else really.
Well, no,
Like,
I think like I don't think that's a thing that the filmmakers got wrong. I think at the time society did not know what
yeah.
it was or how
Yeah,
to
okay.
how to
Well,
treat
then
it.
in that
So
case, I guess any awareness is good awareness at the time,
I
right?
think what you were saying is like, do this movie now. Like I think at the time they're trying things. It's not especially not landing, 55 years, 56 years later, but
Yeah. Quickly, I will say this though, when that diagnosed when she said autism, I did perk up and be like, this is like progressive. This movie like is it kind of ahead of its time. That's what made me make it think it felt so modern in that
sure,
way. I was
sure.
like, these issues are all still happening. It's like that was just when it was sort of introduced to society.
The other thing introduced to society basically around this time is folk music at mass. And remember when folk music or folk mass, I guess, was just catching on, Elvis is seen playing guitar and saying "Let Us Pray" in an early depiction of folk music at mass.
I mean, he looked right at home in the church singing. I mean, that's how he grew up. So I'm sure that is the last shot of him in an Elvis
Mm-hmm.
fictional Elvis film is
Mm-hmm.
him singing folk music in a church. I'm sure he's happy as an apple pie with that going out like that.
We've been talking about it for a couple episodes, but right now, end of 1969, his future in Hollywood's under threat. He's still, like, his movies still make money because they're so cheap to make. They make them quick, make them cheap, attitude of Colonel Tom. His
Get
films have
that?
been making less and less profit with each successive movie.
Hmm.
Colonel Tom had struggled to find any studio willing to pay him $1 million, as we've been seeing, like, it's 850,000, it's whatever, like, again,
Hmm.
here, 850 plus 50% of the profits. But instead, he struck a deal with NBC to do this movie and the Elvis TV special. So
Which
they
was
paid
supposed to be
him,
a Christmas special at the
yes,
time, according to
as
the
we
Baz
saw
Luhrmann
in
film.
Baz Luhrmann's Elvis.
Where is your sweater? I got one for everyone.
So NBC paid Elvis 1.25 million for the two things combined, and Colonel
Okay.
Tom was happy knowing he was still able to earn $1 million for his clients.
Okay. I'm happy,
So
Elvis.
this is, and again, this is verbatim from the internet, amid one of the greatest years of any singer turned actor in music and film history. So this is interesting. So like the last handful of movies were like, his movies are making less money, no one's buying the soundtracks, nobody gives a shit about Elvis. And then between December of 68 and December of 69, his movies are getting a little bit well received. He makes the Elvis comeback, what's now known as the comeback
Mhm.
special. He has three top 10 singles that include the number one hit, Suspicious Minds and In the Ghetto. He has three hit albums, including the legendary From Elvis in Memphis, and was the number one live act in Las Vegas. In
Hmm.
1969 alone, he made more than $7 million from his films, records, TV, and personal appearances, which,
Whoa.
adjusted for inflation, is $59 million today.
Wow. Wow. Good for him. That's crazy, though. What a bump there at the end.
On a career on the downslope, downturn, whatever,
Whatever. Yeah.
he bounces back hard this year.
That's wild. And there's a great song in this movie. So maybe that's part of why stuff too. Like things just keep seeping through the
Well,
cracks up
there's a
until the
little bit. I
very
also
end.
have a little bit of yes. I know exactly what you're saying. And there's trivia about that too, which we'll get to in the movie. So here's the movie that we never got that I really want so bad.
Oh, I love this. Okay.
Elvis co-wrote and produced his own film called The New Gladiators, which was unfinished at the time of his death. Is would have seen him starring as a karate cop in a role that showed off his skills as a martial artist.
Karate Cop.
I know.
Karate Cop.
I want that movie so bad.
Oh my God.
I want that movie so bad.
Elvis too. That would have been a smash. He would have been an action star going into the 70s. He would have been Omega Man instead. Imagine that instead of Charlton Heston, he's the Omega Man, the last man on Earth fighting
Mm-hmm.
vampires. Holy shit, he'd be in like imagine him in like a Planet of the Apes Part 3 where they go back to the modern day and they meet Elvis and you're like, "Hi there, apes. What's Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God. Dude, I
Mm-hmm.
love the sound of that.
As far as I know, he's not written or produced any of these movies he's starring. So he's like, this seems like this is the movie I want to do. I want to show people that I'm good at karate.
Well, you know what's great too? It's like these are the things he loves, according to what I
Yeah.
know about him in pop culture. It's like, that movie where he meets Nixon, right? Where he's like, I just want to be a sheriff. Like I like police stuff. Like I want to carry a gun. I want a badge, all that. And then he's like, I love karate. Like I want to make a karate cop sandwich. Let's do this somehow. How about a movie? Like that's how it works. Like let him play what he comes up with once or
Yeah.
twice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Two more little bits of trivia, then we can talk about the movie. Director William A. Graham said years after making the film that Elvis was the nicest man he'd ever met.
I believe it. I mean, I want to believe it.
The other thing is that one of his previous leading ladies, by the time this movie came out, Dolores Hart, who was in both Loving You and King Creole, had left Hollywood to become an actual nun.
Oh, how about that? Okay, I wonder if she liked the movie. It's not exactly Gone with the Wind. It's not end-to-end bangers or anything like that, but
There was a documentary about her life released in 2012 called God is the Bigger Elvis. God is the Bigger Elvis, which echoes the
whoa.
choice that
Wait,
Sister Mary, or Sister Michelle, Mary Tyler Moore, has to make at the end of the movie.
interesting. Yeah, that's right. The way the cliffhanger, I think it's
Hmm.
supposed to be, but wild that she would still like profit in a way off of Elvis, there being a nun, and like, let me just sneak that into my title.
So we are into the movie discussion now. Mike, first off, overall thoughts before we get into it. Did you like it as a movie? Did you like it as an Elvis movie? Did you like it as Elvis's final film?
Yes, no, and no. So like I love these I like these movies when when they can pull them off well. Like I just think you need a more seasoned you need like a Barry Levinson or something or like a young Scorsese it's like a Mean Street it's like a Mean Streets kind of like
Sure.
wannabe-ish kind of style like that that's what it makes me kind of think of as far as like just this dirty almost like again, like it feels like an exploitation film.
Hmm.
Like not necessarily exclusively for the nun thing. Like that almost feels like the gimmick, like catch him, get him in there, but it's all about like, how how poor people are being stepped on and and literally exploited. So like I do like that angle of it. I just think like the form and the technique are off. Like, and I hate to say, I mean, it doesn't always look bad. I got to give some praise to, Spartacus's cinematographer over here. But it's just such a downer, man. Like for an Elvis movie, it doesn't fly because even stuff when he's done like more serious stuff that are supposed to be, on that line, they still they don't have like ha funny moments, but they're still like, oh, like maybe a quirky thing or like a strange character or something to just like lighten the mood a little bit. A cool looking car, like better music, a song here or there. They definitely could have worked in more music easily, like naturally. Like they could have used
Yeah.
music as therapy for the
Hmm.
autism or something like
Hmm.
that. That would have Elvis singing to her instead of cradling her. I love you. Get mad. I love you. Get mad. And so yeah, I mean, so mostly like it just unfortunately didn't work for me as like an Elvis movie. And, either all that. Yeah, I think I answered it for now.
I'm just bummed that two movies in a row we have Elvis sort of in the background, where it's like the Chautauqua, right, where he's just like kind of like this manager of a thing that like
That was the
moves
worst.
without him, and this
Yeah.
is a story that really doesn't super involve him. The movie starts with the Change of Habit song over the. I mean, there's a little bit before which I want to talk about, but there's Change of Habit, and then we cut to him playing Rubberneckin', and it feels like the movie's like, hey, no, 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 like you're not in the wrong theater, even though there's not like multiplexes back then or whatever, right? Just like this is the Elvis movie that you paid to see. This is not a movie just about Mary Tyler Moore as a nun. This is an Elvis movie, and like they're cutting back and forth, like he doesn't belong in the movie. Like they could do anything, and I think
Yeah.
if you go back to the IMDb summary of as an incognito nun tries to help a doctor clean up an inner city ghetto, the pair grow closer with time. They're not really trying to clean up inner city ghetto. They're basically trying to just get more people to join the church, which is, I guess, like the only, like the number one goal in all of like religion is just like convert more people to your religion, right? So I don't
Yeah.
think that they're like, hey, we are going to cut down on crime, cut down on drugs, right? Blah blah blah. It's just like no, we just want
No.
more people to join the church.
And it is weird how they're being, like they're not forthright about it. Like would I know something about that throws me off too. I don't know like in real life if a nun would lie or withhold the truth like that as much as they do. I think that might just be for entertainment value or not. I could be completely wrong about that. I don't know any nuns, but I think, another issue, I mean, or maybe along the same lines as like Elvis maybe not necessarily being the right actor for the role. I think we could say like he doesn't necessarily feel like he belongs here or that I mean, he should be the singing doctor. Like what
Sure.
the hell? Like and not you don't have to do that like ad nauseum, but like, throw in one or two more songs and like it makes sense for him to sing to patients or whatever or sing to the girl he loves. I think though, like there needed to be more balance, like I was talking about before. I was shocked that this isn't San Francisco, is it? Right? Like I thought at first like we were gonna get into like more free love kind of stuff. And I thought he was because he works at the clinic and Mary Tyler Moore comes in and he's like basically like, oh, you need an abortion. Like, do
Mm-hmm.
you, or like, is that's what you're here for, right? You're here for an abortion, or all right, like, let's do this, like, let's get, and she's like, no, no, no. So, like, immediately I'm like, all right, this is wild, this is crazy. Elvis is giving abortions, like, not that that's bad, but like, where they don't really get back to like promiscuous sex or that kind. It's all very hardcore stuff after that. You don't see any of the bright side of a lot, like because there is, it's not all dark and evil on that side of town. Like, I don't know. It just felt very uneven in that regard.
I was thrown off because you've mentioned this before. We talked about the Spartacus cinematographer. When this movie opens, it is beautiful. Like it's shot. I'm like, oh, this is a real movie. Not that the other movies, the other Elvis movies, are not, but I'm just like, this is a real movie. Like this
It
is like
looks like money.
it's competently made. It's like confidently shot. It's not like rushing to do things. It's not like here's Elvis doing a thing or whatever, right? Like the undressing, the nun dressing, and
That was,
redressing
yeah.
is so cool. And then we smash cut to Elvis playing guitar, and I'm just like, oh, this is an Elvis movie. Like it feels, and I don't want to express that feeling because I know that Elvis himself is probably bummed because I'm sure he wanted to do more than this. But like, there is a certain kind of movie that we have come to expect. And even though it's a little bit different the last couple of movies as he's not really been in it, it's like, oh, this is still going to be a little goofy or whatever. And I was like, can you imagine like if we had another like late career like King Creole where it's like this is like a good movie, like even if it's not an Elvis movie, just like oh this is like a great gritty movie that Elvis is in, and I think you said that Elvis might not be the right man for the role. I don't know. It might be that, or it might just be that like because he's in the role in the movie at all, they pay way more attention to this doctor than they should. Like we should not see this doctor more than like 5 minutes on screen.
Well, I mean, I argued that that he's a superfluous character to begin
Yeah.
with because, like, he sends one of the nurses out on all of the house calls. One of the nurses isn't even ever at the clinic because she's moving into the new apartment for everybody the entire movie or dealing with, striking at the supermarket for
Mm-hmm.
too high prices. She's the only one there and she's taking care of everything. I mean, she could. She's not. They're splitting duties, but like, the whole thing could have been like the clinic needs a new doctor. And she's like, "Hi, I'm the doctor. Here are my nurses. We're taking over the clinic." Sans any Elvis whatsoever, just make it a
Mm-hmm.
Mary Tyler Moore film and she wins the Oscar. Because then you don't even need, then you can balance it properly. You don't even have to worry about Elvis and making him, his image or sneaking songs in or any of that kind of stuff, and you can cast him, you can almost stunt cast him in another way where you get like, fucking a Paul Newman in there or some shit, like, another young hot actor at the time or something like that. I think that could have worked. It would have been hilarious. Halfway through the movie, I kept thinking of Brando for some reason in this role, like the young, not that Elvis reminds me very much of him, but like it deserved sort of a higher caliber performance if it was going to be there. But again, I don't even think that character at the end of the day, in retrospect, absolutely was necessary.
I also don't think that Elvis is bad in this movie. I think the character is very weird, and like it's like they have to play to the Elvis thing where he's making terrible jokes, and everyone in the entire waiting room is like cracking up at his terrible jokes, like saying to somebody who's in a wheelchair, "Don't walk away now," and they're like, "Oh, Elvis," and every girl, every female patient is like, "Please sleep with me, please love me." If it weren't Elvis, if he weren't the one being used to sell the movie, this could be like I mean, it'd probably be a movie that we never saw, or maybe like people who were like, oh, did you know Mary Tyler Moore was actually in this like pretty gritty like urban
Yeah.
redevelopment thing or whatever, but because it's Elvis, because that's like what they're using to sell the movie.
Yeah.
But you were saying before, Rubberneckin', great song, one of the best Elvis songs in my opinion,
So
was
good.
not recorded for this film.
Oh, there's a shock. I mean,
So it was recorded during his famed sessions at the American Sound Studios and chosen for inclusion in the opening scene. So like he's on a run right now of like great recording, great music. It's the comeback special, it's the gospel stuff. It's like he's feeling his
mhm.
stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is a great song just played in this movie. But it wasn't like, oh, Change of Habit or Have a Happy or Let Us Pray, where it's like, oh, these are Elvis movie songs, right? This is like, oh, this is a good
Well,
song.
yeah, isn't that the opening song? Like, there's something about like change of habit in the old. I mean, that's not like a terrible song, but this shit is a banger. Like,
Yes.
this is like play it all day. Is it one in one of the Ocean movies? Because it better be.
Well, so I looked it up. I thought it was in Ocean's 11, but a little less conversation is Ocean's
Yeah.
11. But this is in something where it was around the same time, or I feel
hmm
like in or around 2001, at least I came to know like, oh, there are Elvis songs that like still sound modern that aren't just like gospel songs or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of them got sort of remixed and released on radio. So they put like a new backbeat behind it, or they tweaked like new instrumental, or recorded it with modern
Hmm.
music, and then would like lay his original vocals over it, which I'm fine with. I don't mind that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this song was super familiar, and I was like, I definitely want to go to Vegas, and like, I want to come flying into Vegas listening to this song on my earpods.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the line. There's a line very early on, maybe 6 minutes into the movie, that really establishes what the movie is going to be. And we referenced
Oh,
it earlier. Elvis says, and I quote, "The last three." He talks about the new nurses look like Park Avenue debutantes. And Irene is like, "What part of Park Avenue do you think I'm from?" Where she's just like, "I'm not from Park Avenue. I'm from here." And she's like, "Mm."
hmm.
But then he says, quote, "The last three nurses who worked here couldn't take it. Two of them got raped, one even against her will." Which tells me he is saying one woman got raped but wanted it, which is like, that's like the worst thing I've ever heard in an Elvis movie. It may be any movie.
Is rape a new concept like autism for the
I don't
general
think
I
so.
doubt it, right? Yeah, I don't either. That shocked me, but it wasn't for another scene that I really understood what we might be getting ourselves into when the three young nurses, who no one else knows they're nuns, they
Mm-hmm.
go to the apartment that the parish has set up for them, and they're the two ladies on the stoop, the sort of Statler and Waldorf ladies.
Do you think are they supposed to be funny? Are they supposed to be
No.
comedic relief? Or are they supposed to be like
Well,
this is a reflection of society?
I think it's more like these are the people in the windows, it's like Sesame Street for adults in the way where it's like you don't want to know your neighbors as much as you might think you do, or something. Well, anyway, like the thing that really shook me was what one of them said about the nurse, where it was, let's just leave it at it was a harsh slur like
Mm-hmm.
directed at her pigment. Like that was wild. Like for the little old lady to basically she just said, "Well, that one's as black as a spade." I was like, "Holy shit."
Well, so yeah, so Elvis says you won't last long here. You're not from here. It's not you're not built for this. And they're like, "Well, you're clearly not from here either. Where are you from?" He's like, "I'm Tennessee. I'm able to cut it, basically, right?" And then you go outside and it's like, "Oh, the tough neighborhood." It's just kind of two old ladies yelling at them, and like they're mean, and like it's not good, but it's just like, is that what it is? But then there's a lot of like, for lack of a better description, Elvis movie rape, where it's just like not that he has done it, but like like a rape in a movie that is like, but also in an Elvis movie, or it's like this one character is gonna be holding a knife all movie. And you're like, at some point he's gonna use that knife.
But also the other big sort of thing, that the glaring thing for me, which is where I was like, I understand they're trying to get this right, but they're clearly getting it wrong and not realizing it, is that like Elvis and the banker and the bishop are the only white guys in the entire movie from what I could see, like they depict this part of town stereotypically, where it's like everybody's like looks to be Latino or black or along those lines, and like all the women are hookers, right? They're all
Mm-hmm.
prostitutes, every
Mm-hmm.
woman on the block.
Well, it does seem like the two white people in the movie, one is the literal savior, like
Yeah.
the. Actually, I want to read here also. This is a good time. I want to read part of our friend Jason Rainey's review for this movie on
Oh, I
Letterboxd.
love Jason. Cool.
He writes, but seriously, if there's a note to go out on, it's Elvis being held up as a genuine Christ figure. His character's initials JC, the last name Carpenter. He's
Whoa.
seemingly able to heal the incurable, in
Mm-hmm.
parentheses, autism, question mark, exclamation, question mark, exclamation, question mark. And to that, the finale where Mary Tyler Moore adoringly watches Elvis sing to a congregation as the film cuts between him and various religious icons. Baby,
Yeah.
you've got a messianic stew going. So
Wow,
I think
Jason.
it is important, and Jason's review also cements that the two white people in this movie are a Christ figure and the
Uh-huh.
man
And
with
then,
money
and you could also
and the
say,
cop.
right, and then even the white women who are either the two old hags, okay, like on the window spouting racial epithets, or Mary Tyler Moore, who is a literal nun. She's a nun, she's basically like Mary or something, right, in that regard. And then the other nun who stops being a nun, who is kind of like the other Mary, who, you could say like was with Jesus, but like wasn't
Mm-hmm.
religious at
Mary
all and stuff.
Magdalene.
Yeah, so like you have that going on if you want to write a paper too.
Yes.
The fuck? I just wasn't looking for that at all. It's, you know what else? It's just on a side note, because I'm looking at the poster right now. The fucking fucking things depicted on this poster is like Elvis with a stethoscope, then him cradling the autistic girl trying to heal her, then him teaching Mary Tyler Moore to play the guitar, then them scrambling for a football, and then him stopping the rape. Why is that on the fucking poster?
Because it's like we need sensitive Elvis, loving Elvis, tender Elvis, heroic Elvis, fun Elvis.
We didn't even talk about Julio. You know,
Well,
Julio.
Julio is now where he shows up, and Julio, his dad says, speaks like a dummy, but he's probably not.
Every time Julio tries to talk, his dad's like, "Shut the fuck up! What the fuck you,
Uh
you
huh.
fucking idiot!" And Elvis is like, "Chill out, man. Like, we gotta work this out. He's got to talk right."
And I knew that there was an autistic character in this movie because I did the trivia beforehand, and I'm like, is this him? Like, this is kind of like a subtle thing. But then, like,
Ah,
then Amanda shows up, and Mary Tyler Moore is like, autistic. And it's like, oh, okay, got it.
what was her diagnosis for Julio? Like, just
I don't
that
think they have
he
one. I think
needs
he's
speech
just,
therapy?
I guess so.
Because Elvis said something where it's like, and I think it was about Julio, where he's like, "Look, man, it's not even like worth the time because you like teach him how to speak right. Then you're gonna have to listen to like all the things that are really bothering him and get down to like what's really the cause of the problem." I'm like, "What?
Yeah.
Isn't that like the idea?" He's like, "I understand Elvis is like more of a body doctor, but
Mm-hmm.
like,
So we then meet the banker because, as you mentioned earlier, I not Irene, Barbara, sister Barbara stays at the apartment to get the furniture. The bunch of furniture movers move it in. One says the hard F, and then they basically threaten to gang rape her until the banker walks in to save her from the quote 2-bit winos. And he's like, I'm not really here to save you. I just want to make sure you're not setting up shop in my territory because everyone has a piece of the action. It's like, what? What?
yeah, he thinks she's a streetwalker
Mm-hmm.
because every woman on the block is. It's the only reason you live here."
Everyone's here to hustle or grift. And what's your grift? What's your hustle? Why would you possibly be setting up shop here unless you're trying to make money?
There was a scene before where the banker beat the shit out of some guy and he was like, "You still owe me." He's like, "Thanks for the $40, but you owed me $60. So like now you owe me $30." I mean, that's not verbatim, but like that's like he's got like the VIG and that's his math and stuff. And he's like, "Don't forget." He's like, "You got plenty of arms and legs to break. And then I also know like where your wife and kids live too. So there's like more arms and legs to break or something." I was like, "What? This is an Elvis movie."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And I'm not saying that's bad for a movie to have in it, okay? But you set a certain precedent when you put Elvis in your film,
Yes.
and this is not it.
No. 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 The precedent you do set is what we get to next, where he asks Mary Tyler Moore out on a date to drink, to eat, to whatever, and she's like, "Oh, I don't. Oh, we don't drink. I mean, I don't drink. I mean, we don't drink. I mean, I don't drink." He's like, "What do you what?" And then we go to the grocery store where there's highway robbery for groceries. I'm like, 865, the dream.
Did we paint the place pink yet when Elvis
No,
just
not
like,
yet.
okay,
That's
oh my
next.
God, that blew my mind. That feels very Elvis movie to me.
It
I'll give the
does.
movie that spontaneous paint party is perfectly placed. All right, let's just keep the alliteration going.
I will think that the two things here that do feel like an Elvis movie is like him falling in love with his beautiful co-star, which apparently after, like I think years after the fact, Mary Tyler Moore essentially insinuated Elvis slept with every one of his co-stars except for me.
Was she married at the time? Like, could that have
I
been
don't
the reason?
know, but it feels also like,
Why do you say
life
that?
imitates art or art imitates life or something where
I guess. I
I don't
mean, I
know.
understand he was attractive and he's probably slept with many women, but I mean, that could have just been like a rumor, like, "Oh, you could do an Elvis movie, then you definitely slept with
I mean,
him."
and Priscilla, I mean, again, Priscilla's not from his perspective, but also Priscilla, it makes it seem like every single one of his co-stars he does do stuff with. But
Well, it seemed like in with Anne Margaret, definitely.
so in this movie, though, I think that it makes total sense that there has to be some kind of like love affair, even though she is literally devoted
Yeah,
to God. And then
yeah.
I also think your point about musical interlude, not an Elvis song, but there's a musical interlude as they fix up the apartment, they paint everything pink, and then they settle down to dinner. It's like, no, this is like a goofy thing. It's also so funny that there's like 15 people there painting, and then we smash cut to dinner. They're like, wow, it's really a shame everybody else had to leave, but now we're here. It's like, okay, that's one way to get rid of them.
But it's really crazy that there's not like, "Hey everybody, let's paint." And then they kick into song where it's like painting party time, oh yeah now. Like let's all paint the
Yeah.
house. Like why didn't that happen? I could have used that at this
Mm-hmm.
point. Yeah, that would have been nice.
The guy Chino leaves his guitar, so Mary Tyler Moore picks it up, and I'm just like, oh, are they gonna have like a duet here?
Yeah, yeah.
And
No.
he starts teaching her how to play the guitar, and it's intimate but not sexy. as they're doing this duet again without singing, where she's playing like folk music on the guitar, basically like chords, and he's playing the piano. Statler and Waldorf once again walk by and they're like, oh, it's got to be an orgy. They can't be listening to music this late and it's not an orgy. It's like, what?
It's insane to me too. It's so funny. I wrote down song three. No, not really. Teaching how to play. I was so disappointed. But then they come back and he's like on the piano, but she's and she's very off key and she's not playing guitar correctly and like that's the gag and like it's a nice little scene. I think the scene works. I don't think we needed, it could have worked in the movie like, any with anybody in the movie. No, I again just like another missed opportunity to be like I'm thinking nuns learning how to sing, like do fucking doe a deer, a female deer, play off the nun thing, like teach her how to play guitar by being like, that whole song and shit, man.
Yeah.
A little Sound of Music action. That's what I was craving.
But I think there's also maybe it's by design though that he's just like there's somebody else here. I don't know who it is, but you're devoted to somebody else, so I'm going to let you go. It's like, well, yeah, that person is God. Like she loves God. She loves Jesus.
I'm starting to think more and more where it was like the whole secret nun thing wasn't in the originals. I mean, I know it was, but like the way it feels is like when Elvis was joined this film and they had to Elvis it, like I feel like that's where the twist came from. It's like, well, how can Elvis fall in love with a nun? Well, he can't. Well, what if he doesn't know she's a nun? Well, how are we going to do that? Okay, they're on a secret mission. You know what I mean? It just feels a little too contrived in my mind for this movie. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it's definitely an Elvis moment where he's in love with someone he like doesn't know why they don't love him back kind of thing.
Now, do you think it's contrived to have the stabby kid outside waiting to stab? Just like, ooh, they're in there. I'm going to stab her.
Probably. I don't know. I mean, it didn't help his name was Stabby McStab.
I don't know what his real name is. It just because every time they show him, they're just like he's less than human. He is just someone who is going to stab and rape.
Well, yeah, and then even at the like football game, he's just like sitting there cradling like in the fetal position while people are playing football around him. It's like, why you're paying all your attention to the autistic girl? Like, look at this kid too, Like I get it. You want to go on the merry-go-round and finally sing a song.
Well, let's also talk about that because the only thing between here and there are the hugging the autism out of Amanda, which is wild, which we talked about, which I don't know that there's more to say. Is there more to say about that or no?
I mean, we could just reiterate that like it's a very long scene that they spend a lot of time on this, and it's basically just Elvis holding her in his arms, cradling her, saying he loves her over and over again, and then periodically saying get as angry and as mad as you can get, and that's the therapy is to like let her get all the anger out, and then at the end she finally starts speaking,
Mm-hmm.
which seems like an eternity.
The other thing between here and the touch football game is Irene, who is the one nun who does nurse or whatever, does the house calls, gets accosted by two black men. They're basically like, you're not black. You're black on the outside, but you're just dipped in maple syrup, a line that they say.
The fuck?
And she calls them Negroes. She's like, we're all Negroes. And goes, we're not Negroes, we're black. And it's like, okay, this is, I assume, I did not look, I'm actually going to look right now. I would assume everybody who wrote this movie is white.
Oh, it's a green book situation, I'm gonna be honest with you, Joey. Men, most white men wrote movies before the 80s, I have a feeling. It was mostly white men and Carrie Fisher. I don't know.
Well, James Lee, who wrote Roots, might not have been. Let's see here. James
Good
Henderson
point.
Lee.
Good point.
No, he is white.
Oh well.
I
Too bad,
think.
Roots.
I don't
Maybe?
know.
Hard to say. Was that based on a book or something though? So
Yeah, Alex Haley's Roots. So maybe he just adapted it. Because when I search James Lee, there's no black people. It's either white people or Asian men. So that might be the thing. But I'm just like, this feels like it could be more delicately handled. I don't know.
if your intention is to shock, which this movie is trying to shock its audience into thinking, and in a modern pretense, this film is more woke, right? It's like it just is. It's dealing with issues that people generally don't have their attention on from day to day because it's not part of their inner lives and it's not within their bubble. And so a scene like this is perfectly fine, I feel. Like I feel like this scene actually worked. Just not with like Elvis right around the corner. Like that's just what keeps throwing me. Like I feel like the rest of the movie can be perfectly fine. Like this fits in a Mary Tyler Moore Oscar bait kind of situation, sure. Like you want that kind of stuff. But then he's just like tipping it the wrong way with Elvis. I'm having a trouble with that.
So we get to the touch football game, which maybe tips it back in the Elvis, because this feels more like an Elvis movie where he's like they say it earlier. They're like, you should come check out our touch football game, but like I didn't think we were gonna see it. The fact that we see it, we're just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
here we are. And Mary Tyler Moore is having a goddamn blast. Like she's throwing spirals for touchdowns. She's kicking off. She's picking off Elvis. He tackles her. Whatever. But I was thinking, like, this is so weird to play touch football with your patients.
It seems a little odd. I mean, it could be just one of those day off situations where, it could have been basketball. It could have been a pickup game, something like that, maybe.
I mean, it's touch football, so it's not necessarily full contact until Elvis wants to,
Yeah.
get
Have some
all up
snuggles
on
and
Mary Tyler
cuddles.
Moore,
Exactly.
and then bring Amanda to get ice cream like they've adopted her. It's very strange.
That's bizarre.
But it more so feels like, well, here's the, 15 people that are in the movie. They're all going to play football.
It
Because
does
also
kind of,
remember, in the last movie, in Trouble with Girls, Chautauqua, Elvis loves football, wanted to play a football movie, and that's why there's that one football scene. So it feels like here, maybe Elvis is like, once again, maybe.
Let me ask you something, Joey, because
Yep.
you're way more sports than I am when it comes to what. Is football new in 1969?
Well, so the NFL AFL merger was right around then. So like the Jets won the Super Bowl, which was Super Bowl 3, I think in 69 or around there. So like it's the advent of the modern era, but football's been around since like 1900 or before.
But the football, like we know it, like the leagues and the teams and the modern football.
No, I mean like it expanded, but like this is
Okay.
it is sort of a big boom for football at this time because there was like two separate leagues that kind of decided to play against each other. So like there's a
good,
shot
yeah.
that like this is a time where like people who maybe didn't know about it a few years earlier cared about it now, especially maybe people in the South.
I think that's exactly it's breaking into the mainstream more as like a sport that's not going anywhere
Yeah.
now. Like it's been here a while and it's going to be here forever kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it's part of pop culture. It's part of society. Like let's get it into movies now, just like baseball or whatever. That was just what I was thinking.
And Elvis probably just loved playing with his Memphis Mafia and was just like, we can get in this movie too. I can play it here.
That's so
I can
great.
play with
It's
Mary
just
Tyler Moore.
like, we got a whole team here.
Then with Amanda on this somewhat sort of adopted date, whatever, they go on the merry-go-round and he sings "Have a Happy" about let your address be Sunshine Place, which is fine. I mean, it's an Elvis song.
I don't know. This sequence felt like a nightmare to me for some reason.
It was
Just
weird.
maybe because of the way it was shot and like the fixation on the little girl and then the terrifying horses on the carousel and everything. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But yeah, again, it's weird that now we're getting into Elvis movie territory and I'm like too late kind of. You know what I'm saying? My brain is over here now. You know what I mean by that, Joey? It's like I just feel like it's too long to make up for what like you've already scarred me with like the brutality of this film and
Yeah.
like what it's trying to say and its harshness and it's like just unrelenting like oh, you think it's bad? Like it's just wait, it's just gonna get worse. Every other scene is just gonna get worse.
Well, you know who also is scarred is Mary Tyler Moore, because after this day out with Elvis, she's like, I have to go confess or something. I got to go to church.
I know. Yeah, she's having doubts. There's another nun movie, Doubt.
Truly.
The guy who wrote the fucking Hanks film, right? He did the Hanks with the Joe versus the Volcano. Yeah,
Oh,
great movie.
John Patrick Shanley?
Yeah, right? Didn't he do Doubt?
I don't know, maybe. I have not seen Doubt, I don't think.
Oh, it's a good one.
Is that Phyllis Seymour Hoffman? Is that one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Covered by the Hoff Bros.
Meryl Streep.
So she goes to church, and Father Gibbons is like, look, I know you got men over late at night. I know you're playing music. You're not dressing like ladies. I want you out of my church.
And then she's like, you could plead your case, you know. Good luck, but I hate you. And Mary Tyler Moore has some kind of line where she's like, it's not very Christian of him or something like that. I don't know. She says is a very telling thing for like a nun to say where it's like,
Well, this is always what it is, right? It's like people who, at least stereotypically, not always, but stereotypically, people who are in positions like this are the ones who are not acting or upholding the tenets of what they believe.
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and this guy's clearly stuck in his way and likes things his way and has become a bigot. Basically, he's like, I don't know if women should be nuns. Like, you know? It's like, oh, what?
The banker comes to Elvis at the doctor's office, and he's like mad. And I'm like, I don't know what this is about.
Yeah.
And then Irene shows up, and she's like, oh, I borrowed $100 from him because I want to donate it to this event that we're throwing. And she's like, oh, by the way, I'm not going to pay him back. It's like,
Yeah, she has that big thing at the end too, that nothing ever comes of too, where she's like, no one has to pay back the banker.
Which is crazy. And she's like, "What are you gonna do? Break everyone's arms?" Like, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, wait, like maybe we
Or
should
maybe
wait to
just
talk
break
about
your
that.
arms.
Yeah, maybe we should wait to talk about that scene or not. I mean, we can
No,
talk about it
let's
now,
wait.
but like,
We're getting near the end.
okay,
We can get
okay.
there. But she talks about like this is when she uses the N word because she's like, "This is how I grew up. This is the life I was trying to escape. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is why I believe what I believe." And I'm just like, all right, like that's like a powerful thing. It just feels goofy that like the scene before, Elvis was tackling Mary Tyler Moore to the ground in a touch football game and going on an ice cream date with a little girl.
And Irene is telling that to Elvis, like drops the
Yes.
N-bomb in front of Elvis. Like, I don't, that made me very uncomfortable. Like, even though I'm sure, Elvis heard that, I'm not saying he hasn't heard that word before or anything, but again, it's just the context of this movie feels a little off with him being here.
I get it. I don't disagree.
He represents too much, you know what I'm saying? Like people bring way too much with them when they go watch Elvis, so you really have to like be careful what role you start putting him in when it comes to movies that are off his base, not really constructed as previous Elvis movies that have been hits that he wants to do something new and try something different. He should have done Karate Cop, I'm saying. Like that would have been a
Yeah.
huge, everyone would have been so happy.
Oh yeah.
I would have been so
Oh
happy.
yeah. We go to the church, and the church is like powerfully unhappy with the way that the nuns have been doing stuff, how they're the way in which they're attracting new members, and they really don't like the fact that they're planning this upcoming celebration. And they're like, you need to basically act like nuns or get out. So they all dress like nuns, and that's when Statler and Waldorf are like, oh, I guess what they were doing had a good reason.
I didn't know they didn't know. And like the guy in charge of the church, the younger guy, is actually kind of cool with everything in a way where he was like, "Look, like old priest, like you're too old, like you're set in your ways, like we gotta reach the young people and like times are changing." But he was like, "Ladies, like not so fast, like we're gonna do the festival and stuff, but like you're moving too fast. The church wants to be progressive, but not at that pace. You gotta get back in the habits." And so like that's the compromise. You can throw your festival for
Mm-hmm.
Saint whoever it was of Puerto Rico who got the snakes out. I can't remember what it was for exactly, but yeah, so that's then they start just like traipsing through the neighborhood in full habit. And I thought they were just gonna put the tops on and wear normal clothes like you see them, around nowadays from time to time, but nope, it's just like full on
It's
tuxedo suits.
yeah, they are like, no, we are nun ass nuns.
And everyone's shocked. Like that's the other thing is like what shocked me, what surprised me about the plot of the church sending these three ladies to the ghetto unsupervised, incognito. They were hard targets, you know what I'm saying? They had red like bullseyes on their backs. And the church knew it because the guy's like, "Oh, now that you got your habits back on, like the neighborhood will keep their hands off you and respect you and like know not to fuck with you basically and not to like try and gangbang you guys." And it's like, well, what the fuck? Like, just don't make them incognito. Like, just make them nuns that show up at Elvis's place, and Elvis has to be like, nuns, huh? That's new. All right then, come on, ladies, like, let's get to work.
Well, because like what's also weird to me is that there's the one nun, not Sister Irene and not Sister Michelle, but Sister
Sister
Barbara,
Barbara,
the
yeah,
one who basically has nothing to do. Then essentially stages like a one woman sit in at Ajax Market because she's like, you're charging too much for stuff.
yeah.
And she's like, she's surly in a way that doesn't befit the character either before or as a nun or both. And that's when Ed Asner shows up and just like talks to the other people like humans.
Hmm.
And she's like, I know what you're doing. Like, essentially like Attica, Attica.
Right.
And he's like, no, I'm asking her how her legs feel. Right. Like it's a
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah.
strange, like, I understand why you want to have three nuns because just feels right for a movie, but they give this woman nothing to do.
You're not wrong. And then like the thing that like hurts the most is that there's so much she could be doing. Like you could split her duties. Like she has just as much to learn about the neighborhood as like the other two. I mean, she could, you know what? In fact, I don't feel like what's Mary Tyler Moore's character like really comes to any kind of like socially conscious change, right? Like she doesn't really see the world that much differently, even after she gets assaulted, they fucking don't arrest the guy. She like
Hmm.
lets him go. for like therapy and shit or whatever. It is like, what the fuck? Like your worldview has not changed whatsoever
Nope.
through this experience. But Sister Barbara, if like she stops being a fucking nun, where's that arc throughout this movie?
Don't
There's
know.
plenty to do with her. The movie just didn't know how to do it or where to put it necessarily because they do it with Sister Irene. Her entire
Yes.
view of the world changes and she becomes accepted on a whole new level in a way. And so like it's a shame because there was story for Barbara. Maybe if Elvis wasn't here.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe that's a
Possible.
big maybe. That's a big maybe.
So then we're building up toward this fiesta, the festival for the one patron saint or whatever. We see Stabby go into the church to steal a statue, I guess to impress the
Wait,
nuns.
I thought I was putting it back.
Was he putting it back?
I can't remember. I don't know if he was
I got the
stealing it or
sense
putting
maybe
it
maybe I
back.
missed it, but I thought he was stealing it because he wanted to like bring it, and then he either way he drops it, it
Yeah.
breaks, he gets chased out, and then later in the movie he uses that as ammunition, which is not a pun intended because he's using a knife, not a gun, but as like why he deserves or feels justified in trying to rape Mary Tyler Moore. He's like, I dropped the statue, you made me drop the statue. It's like what?
Yeah, she was just trying to help you the whole movie.
I don't know.
Wow. Wow.
So then at the party, Amanda says the N word because she basically like just like because all she never says a thing on her own. She just sort of repeats what other people around her says. So she
Parrots.
clearly hears Irene talking about her past, and so she says that, which is all right.
Shocking.
As we mentioned, Irene tells the banker she's canceling all debts that everyone owes to the banker, calls him a small time gorilla. He backhands her. Then Elvis
Yeah.
contractually punches him, gets a fight in for the movie,
Yep, yep. I
gets
couldn't
broken
believe
up
she got
almost immediately.
she got fucking hit hard too. That was crazy. It's crazy that within the span of a minute in an Elvis movie, a little girl drops the N-word and then a black lady gets slapped the shit out of her by a white
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
Like what?
Yep. Then Stabby comes back and says, "Knife make me big man," and he holds Mary Tyler Moore at knife point, tries to rape her. And Elvis and Irene are walking back from the party, and he hears her screaming, so he goes in to wrestle the knife away. She calls the cops, and he runs off.
Right.
And we never see him again, right? He's
No.
just gone.
Yeah, we just hear about what became of him, which is they let him go, right? Like he's well, like he's just not in prison. He's getting help, I think is what they said, right?
Okay.
But she like dropped the charges, I think.
I mean, that feels canonically within character for like a nun to be like, he's troubled. I'm not going to give, whatever. But
Still.
Elvis says, "Hey, what would you think if I asked you to quit the nunnery and marry me?" And she's like, "Marrying you means I can only love God through one person. Being a nun means I can get to love God through everybody. I'm
Good
going to love
answer.
you. I'm always going to love you." And he's like, "What?" She's like, "I honestly don't know that I can leave." And then she's like, "You know what I need? I need church." And she walks into church, and Elvis is singing "Let Us Pray." And this is when she's like, "Oh, I do love him." And then she looks around and is like, "Jesus, Jesus, Jesus."
It was
She closes her
Jesus.
eyes, and it's just like, I don't know what to do. Movie ends.
It was like a crazy kind of like I really they got it in at the end where it was like, what? Wait, what? The movie's
Yep.
doing what now? Wait, it's we're doing wait, what? And it's just like, do I love Elvis? Is Elvis God? Is Elvis Jesus? Is it the same thing? Should I just give up being in the church? And if I'm with Elvis, it's just the same, it's just the same as being with the church? I was like, wait, whoa, whoa. And then it's just like cut to black or whatever. I mean, it felt like the end of a different movie, to be quite honest with that, but I liked it. I actually kind of liked it.
And that is Change of Habit. And with that, it's Elvis's film career.
Oh, all right. We did it.
So, Mike, this was a 6.0 on IMDb. It had a 3.0 on Letterboxd. The best song, I think, is very clearly Rubbernecking. But on a
Yeah.
scale of 1 to 10, 1 is totally forced, 10 is totally natural. What would you rate this movie in terms of how forced the songs are? Remember, there are four. One is over the opening credits.
Yep.
One is essentially also over the opening credits as he's playing it to a group of patients. One is at the end of the movie in church, and one is singing to a little girl on a merry-go-round on a
Yeah.
picnic slash ice cream slash football date. How forced are the songs in Change of Habit?
Okay, so what? So most forced is one is the bad
Terrible is
one.
1, 10 is perfect.
So like they're all ones except for the last one, which is a 10 in my book. The opening credits are never.
Well, we don't count that. Yeah.
We really don't count that. He's sitting around after hours singing to his patients,
Yep.
having like a fucking sit-in or whatever. Like, no, I don't. It's not until later we find out that he can kind of play guitar and instruments and stuff, but it's not like he's the singing doctor. The merry-go-round thing, it was just like too little, too late. It was very Elvis movie-ish kind of thing going on, but it was also very bizarre given like the situation that they were
Hmm.
like babysitting the autistic girl and like whatever else was already happening with her character was just very off, them playing house with that. I did not like that. And I loved him playing in Church at the End because, like I said at the top of the show, like I think that's like an amazing image that he's able to go out on for him. Like knowing that like he came up singing in the church, like he loves the church, like he used to do gospel and all that kind of, and still did gospel at the time. So like I think to have one of the very last shots of him
Yep.
like
Yep.
on celluloid like that for
Yep.
his movie career to be that shot, I think that's terrific. I want to give that a 10 so
So we'll
bad.
give that a 10. We'll give the opening Doctor one a 2, and then the merry-go-round
Okay.
like a 4. So
Okay.
average to be like a 5 out of 10.
All right. I agree.
So we have no more movies to guess, but here's what we guessed for this one. I said, I'm pretty sure this is about nuns, which I got right, but I knew that. Like, that was not a.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a wacky comedy. Could not be further from the truth. Where he has to go undercover as a nun, which he did not do.
But you got
They went undercover.
undercover.
I was. I had undercover, but it was completely the wrong person in the wrong direction.
Okay.
They all know that Elvis is Elvis, whoever he is in the movie, but no one else does. Things get more complicated as he helps them channel their inner musicians, and they become a traveling song and dance troupe, a rarity for nuns. They have to shield Elvis from the mobster who's after him. I mean, there's the
Mobster. There
banker.
was the banker.
I
Yeah, I
had
wrote
points,
mobster.
but
You got,
none in the right direction. So they're just like sort of scattered.
but considering how much we just throw at the wall with these, like to get any
True.
points,
Well, thank you. Very
you know what I
generous.
mean? Yeah.
You said he's a pickup artist, a slimy guy who goes from girl to girl. He meets Mary Tyler Moore, who must change his habits to be with her. He's got to clean up his act if he wants to be with her, which he does, but like he can't clean up. There's no way that he can clean up his habits enough to be with her because
She's a
there's only
nut.
one man for her, and that's a man named God. He'll finally have a date with her, and it'll go terribly wrong because the waitress knows him, another patron knows him, so on, so on. It ends in true Elvis fashion. The final movie, the final scene, a final wedding. He also gets into a bar fight.
Well, he got into a bit of a fight, but it wasn't a bar fight. I was all over the place with that one.
Oh well. Oh well.
Oh well, I'm fine. It's all good.
And that was Viva Pod Vegas, at least the first season. I mean, who knows what
Season
we're going to do from
finale.
here. I do want to see the comeback special because I am sure growing up, I saw parts of it. We also saw parts of it in the Elvis film. And I'm just
Yeah.
sure, like, from knowing from popular culture, I want to see it. However, we cover it, whether it's commentary or just watching it and talking about it, we will cover it at some point, but not for a little while. But we'll come back. Maybe the same thing that you and Dan do, where you actually just sit back and figure out what you want to do next. We can do that and figure out post wedding, post monsters, post
Yeah.
stuff going on in your life, what we can figure out where we can go.
I know that like, I would definitely like to share the John Carpenter film screening with you. I'd like to watch that and talk about that with you. And I not just the comeback special, but I remember as a kid, Elvis in Hawaii. Like there is a big Hawaii special that he does or something or other. But I remember that concert for some reason when I was younger, really sort of like giving me the image of Elvis when I was a kid. So maybe down the line we watch a couple of his concerts, or maybe we group them all together into like one or two episodes or something like that.
We'll
So
figure something
there's
out.
stuff. Yeah.
But Mike, anything else to say in this episode, in this season, before we close up shop for now?
I mean, I just want to thank everybody for listening very much. So do I. The Colonel must get his final
Oh,
say. Oh,
okay.
you thought you could get away without me for one last time, but I write everything down in my little book, Joey and Mike. So you do not know. I have detailed
He
files
has been
of what you
keeping a
owe
tally.
me. You have taken my likeness for the last few years, and I do not like that. I had to get him in one last time. Had to do the Colonel there. But I sincerely thank everyone, especially who wrote in too. Like you did not need to take the extra time. Like that is very thoughtful. I appreciate everybody out there. Because like, yeah, I don't know, Joey and I were just like wanted to do this, to do it for ourselves and to have everybody along for the ride with us has just made it so much sweeter and much more fun. It would have been a lot of fun anyway, but like I just feel like knowing other people are out there it just kind of like makes the episodes a little more special. And I'm kind of sad. I'm gonna miss having an Elvis movie to look forward to because like I was kind of coveting them. You know what I mean? Like I looked forward to everyone and what it was gonna be about. So that's okay. Things change, life goes on, and more podcasts down the line in many different forms. So
It took us almost 6 years to do this because COVID was in the middle and I refused to do these online. So
I
we
didn't realize
did
that.
4 before COVID, and then we took
Whoa.
a year plus off, and then it was basically, we just sort of here and there from then on for the next few
Wow,
years.
we
But yeah,
started it that soon after Cage, because we established Cage Club 10 years ago this month,
yes.
Joey and I. So we started it that soon after Cage
We
Club is
started it
kind of
4 years after
weird.
Cage Club. Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. Okay, well, it doesn't seem like that long ago in podcast time.
I
So
actually do want to see here. Hold on.
thanks for, picking us up and whatever, anytime we were on and took a break and all that stuff and finding us again. That's awesome.
So we have here. Is this going to be at all helpful? Yeah. So Cage Club was 2015, of course. April 1st of 2016 was Zack Attack and Monkey Club and Keanu Club.
Third Time's a Charm was March the following year, I think.
Watch the Throne was December of 2017. Third Time's a Charm was March of 2018.
Okay.
Slumber Party was May of 2018. But yeah, like
Wow,
we
so
were
many
pretty
shows.
consistently starting new shows. Hanks and Cruz we did January of 2019.
Wow, that long ago? That was
Mm-hmm.
pre-demic?
That was pre-demic because then we sped up. We were doing them
Right.
alternating every Friday.
And then we doubled down.
Anyway, that is all to say. We have like 3,500 episodes or something on the Cage Club podcast network. Go to cageclub.me, poke around. There's more than just Elvis. I would say if you're into older movies, listen to Monsters That Made Us. That's the closest thing we have to
thank you.
this. We've done some episodes of Too Fast that cover older movies, but generally that's not really what we do over there. But in terms of older movies, mostly on your show, then some scattered throughout on other shows. Email in King, King, at cageclub.me. If a bunch of people write in, which I don't think is going to happen, but if you do, maybe we'll come back for a mailbag episode. We can figure out what we're going to do there. Maybe we will come back for a mailbag episode when we figure out what we're
Ah,
going to do, and we can announce the plans and also do the mailbag then. But King at cageclub.me, just go to cageclub.me, poke around. Socials are pretty inactive, so just email us if you want to chat with us.
yeah.
But thank you all again for listening. I'm Joey Lewandowski,
And I'm Mike Manzi.
and we will see you next time, whenever that is, whatever that is, right here on Viva Pod Vegas. Thank you very much for listening.